Okay, so who else is here?
Tomas and Rahmane.
Welcome. And who else is here?
Carol.
Hi, Carol, also from Juneau, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So is Hadi Munder on here yet? Not yet. Okay, so who else is here?
Hadi Daskar.
Oh, welcome, dear. Welcome. And who else? Is there anybody else here?
Tina Pendleton.
Tina Pendleton. Welcome, dear. Welcome. Where are you from?
I'm Guru Ravi's student.
Oh, good. So you're from Texas. Oh, I know. You're the one who registered for the course, aren't you? Wonderful. Welcome, dear.
Thank you.
And who else is here? Okay. So let's get started. Okay. So, Solstice has been most inspiring, most beautiful, as it always is. There are at least 2,100 people there. That's how many people are registered. Isn't that incredible? Oh, who else just came on?
Sarah, dedicated.
Who?
Sarah, dedicated.
Glad to have you, dear. And who is the other one who just came on?
Guru Atma.
Oh, hi, Guru Atma.
Dedicated.
Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, here's another one. Who's here?
Hi, this is Kathy from Juneau, Alaska.
Oh, welcome, dear. Welcome. We certainly have a Juneau contingent this morning, don't we?
I was wondering your Facebook.
I beg your pardon?
The Facebook name, and I'm wondering that information. I hear you all mentioning Facebook, and I don't know what your full name is, and I don't know all the actual word-led names and such to connect with everyone. I'm more deeply.
Okay.
Well, on that level.
Okay, we want you to. Here's the address. Do you have a pencil and paper?
I'm ready.
Okay. It's facebook.com / groups, plural, is GROUPS /
Say that one more time.
GROUPS.
I could look for you at your name, how you represent yourself. I don't know your spelling, and if you could tell me all that would be great.
Okay, well, my name is Siri Gian, but I don't do too much with my personal Facebook page. The one that's really... go ahead. The one that's really active is the Soul Answer Facebook page.
Okay, and what is that again?
Facebook.com / group.
Well, okay.
What?
Tell me the name again. There's a little echo, and I missed the name when you said it.
I know. This is terrible. It's Facebook.com.
Well, no, never mind. I'll ask Kari Monder.
Okay, that'll be good.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Now, this connection is really bad. So, I'm going to ask you all what you would like to do. Would you like to hang up and call in right now, or would you rather, after we tune in, I just mute the whole group? Which would you prefer?
Mute the whole group.
Mute it.
Okay. But for right now, we need everybody on in order to tune in. Okay? So everybody sit straight. Palms together if you can. Feet flat on the floor. Eyes are closed. Focus at the third eye point. Long, deep breath. That's it. Relax in your breath. And inhale to tune in with the Adi mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Long deep breath. Long deep breath. And now begin heart breath. That is, on the exhale, feel as though your breath is coming out of your heart center. Really open up. Allow your heart to clear. Good. And now please join in with each other. Join in your heart breath. Become one. Good. Spread this beautiful heart breath among us. It's one pure, wonderful group. Group of the heart. Good. And keep up your heart breath. And now please send this beautiful heart breath, healing energy, again to Syria. They've had a terrible time. Terrible. And then also please send it to our own U.S. Political system that is under attack. Good, good. Now inhale and exhale. And so, Baba Siri Chand, what do you have for us today? He says he has his heartfelt thanks for us, his heartfelt knowing that we are holding the work that he is giving us in the best way he can, that we can. He says, know that you have an appetite for good, and the appetite that we have for what is generally called, what other people call evil, he says, is waning in the world. He says, you may not think it, but it is. He says, by us feeling like we want to throw up all of the darkness, he calls it the hatred of the light. He says, we are giving it up. We are giving it up. We are letting it go. We are finding a new space within ourselves that does not include the fisticuffs, the fighting, the back and the forth. He says, because as you live in the present, as you live in the consciousness of the truth, of the place of no return, he calls it, no return to the places of hatred, fighting, hurt within our own selves. He says we bring that to our universe, to our world. So what he's asking is that perhaps in the past we would get upset, we would fight, we would lay blame, we would hold a grudge. He's asking us, please, not to go into that consciousness. He says, instead, stay in your truth. Stay rooted in truth. And he says, as you know, as his girl has taught you, you live in your intuition. You live at the behest of your own soul. You know who you are in relationship to your soul, rather than the other way around, which has been our habits for generations. When he says generations, he's talking not only about your lineage, he's also talking about, our past life progression, our own personal evolution. So he says, as you live in this truth, without the fighting, only holding the present, and holding the station of who you are, holding the eternal light of who you are, being totally grounded. As you remember, grounded means sending your energy right down into the center of Mother Earth. He says, as you do that, as you keep your, root your energies up through your 10th gate into the heavens and continue that cycling, he says this is how you become rooted in heaven and earth. He says you stay in that truth. He said, now when he says do not give in to fighting, he's talking about anger, retribution, and so on. He's not saying don't express the truth. He's not saying that. But he is saying don't get into fighting mode. So stay totally one-centered, one-pointed in this connection of heaven and earth, understanding that is who you are. You are the conduit between heaven and earth. You are participating in both. And he says, and you radiate the truth. You allow yourself to hear and understand the truth that comes from your soul. He says, and please do express it. He says, but not in a way to tear down the other person, but in a way that the other person can hear it. He says, sometimes it may be a very quiet, gentle expressing of the truth. Sometimes it may be a very grounded, centered, sort of martial arts yell of truth. He says, but the point is you are not lost in your emotions. You are not hiding behind your personal grief, your own personal hope of acceptance. He says, When you are in this mode, you have totally accepted who you are on all levels. You have totally accepted all of your lineage, meaning both your family lineage as well as your, he says, your heart-shaping past lifetimes, we will call it. He says, in pure awareness of your culture. He says, and you stand the ground of the truth. Stand the ground of the truth. What he's showing me is a baseball field with a pitcher in the middle. Now, the pitcher in the middle has the option of throwing the ball at any runner. They take any runner out. He says it's more like that. He says staying in the middle and watching what's going around you and being aware of where to throw that ball. Do you understand? He says, please stay grounded and centered in your truth. He says, please breathe with that now. Please do your heart breath. And he says this pure truth is nothing trivial. He said, even if it's about the smallest thing. Now, he says with this truth, he says, it's not that you are trying to get your own way. Do you understand? It is not trying to get your own way as we might have done in the past. It is standing in your truth, knowing, being present, and allowing that to enter the consciousness of whoever needs it. It can be done very gracefully. It can be done very forcefully. But to allow it to enter the consciousness of ourselves and of others. He says, with no expectations. There are no expectations that the other person is going to do, is going to follow, is going to hold the truth that is coming through you. No expectation. Your job is to be present and to express that truth. He said it could be in a joke. It could be in pure kindness. It could be in making very beautiful and effective boundaries. The point is that you stay in your truth. That is who you are. Okay, now breathe with that. And breathe with that realization. He says this might be a new realization for a number of you. So he says just please get used to it. He says the problem comes in when we want the world to act like we want it. When we get into a situation of controlling, trying to, for our own personal security. He says that won't do. He says your own personal security must come from following the direction of your soul, your God self. That is where your own security will come, must come from. The trust, the not knowing what the next step is until you commit your weight, until you commit your progress. He says that is where your real security must come from. Not trying to remake the world in your own aura, in your own perspective, in your own picture. He says, frankly, that's kind of ridiculous. It gets you nowhere. He says what we are doing is not controlling. We are putting the truth forward. We are putting the truth into what you might call the ethers, or the planetary consciousness, or the individual consciousness. We are putting that truth forward in its most direct and vibratory form, as well as in an informational form. Please breathe with that. He says your breath is so important because it moves the energy. Feel the presence of who you are. He says where we are moving is that as we allow the truth to come through us, even when we don't speak it, even when we are alone in our own meditation, as we live this truth, as we acknowledge it, as we explore it within our own selves, he says we bring it into the cultural collective. And that is our job as light workers, is to acknowledge, to know, and to reside in the truth. He says each one of us is to develop our being, the light of our being, the vibration of our being, in a way that the resonance of truth is rung like a bell within our own system. We are to herald in, live, be, focus, broadcast the energetic quality of truth. Now he says this truth can go from anywhere like everyday, everyday circumstantial truth. Okay, like making change at the store. Like the clerk gives you too much money, you say, oh, wait a minute. You gave me too much money. Let's redo this again. Okay, so that's everyday truth. It means on your job, not trying to get away with things, but being present and just simply giving. Getting along with others. It doesn't mean that you just simply give in, but that you listen closely to others, and that you are steady enough to finally, to kindly, to also to project your own truth, and allow the cohesiveness, the mixing, the melding, to come together into a workable group activity. He says that's the truth. He says he doesn't mean to go out and create a war with the other political party. No. It is to stay in love and in heart breath so that the vibration may change, so that we may change with that vibration as well. It is not up to us to sit on our laurels and say, oh, I know what it's supposed to be. I know how things are supposed to go. He says quite the contrary. It is that we live in this truth, understanding that it is the other political party that is pushing us, or he says of that consciousness that is pushing us to actually go deeper and deeper to ascertain the real truth that comes through us. Do you see? There's an element of gratefulness to this, that we are being pushed to go deeper and deeper into our own understanding of what is the most real, and to observe how we are moving into that consciousness. It is to bless the people. It is to bless the people, who are so angry, who are so blaming. Continue to bless so that they may relax, so that the bell of their own truth may be rung from deep within, so that that resonance may grow and they may live from it, so that they may be also saved from the exterior forces of organized, he calls it organized venom that comes from the outside. Keep up your heart breath, please. So that we may all, he says, so that we may all gang together in harmony and truth. He says, haven't you been praying for that for lifetimes? He says, even your beauty queens get up and pray for world peace. Could you imagine? Keep up the breath. He says, of course, you know, world peace begins with peace of one's own heart. It means abiding in the compassion, the love, the truth that flows through you, that is you, that is your goodness, that is your knowledge, that is your unquestioning spot on earth. This is who you are. You must not forget it. You must grow in it. Now he is saying the word must, M-U-S-T, but, of course, everybody has a choice. He says, but if you are really committed to being who you really are, which is, as we've been calling all of you, the light workers, if you are committed to being planetary healer, if you are being committed to understand and know who you are, and to express it in this most beautiful, he calls it beautiful and breezy world. He says, please live in the everlasting consciousness, the awareness, the remembrance, remembering not to go off the deep end. He says, we like that so much. It is so satisfying to go off the deep end and really, really get mad, really begin to feel like we're nothing, really push back. Oh, who could they be to do that to us? He says, if you still want to do that, that's up to you. He says, but it can cause nothing but pain. He says, haven't you found that to be true? It can only prolong your pain. It can only prolong the pain of the collective. Prolong the pain of trying to move forward to our, what we're calling universal peace. He says, so why? He says, because it's much easier to stay in it, because you would find grief if you actually changed your reactions. He says, well, my dears, you've signed on. By the fact that you're on this call, you have signed on to spiritual evolution. He says, so? He says, can you imagine any other way if you have already signed on? He says, here's the other side. If you forget and you get angry or you get blaming or whatever, he says, do not stop and blame yourself. Do not go into, he calls it paroxysms of hurt and, oh my God, what did I do? He says, no. He says, just stop. Just breathe. Say, oh my God, I forgot. I forgive myself and I'm going forward with new consciousness, increased consciousness. He says, that's all you do. That's the way it is to grow. That's how it is to change a habit. That is how you get to know yourself, your real self. He says the beautiful combination, the beautiful oneness of knowing yourself as soul living this planetary life. And when we talk about soul, we are talking about your Atman, your God self. Keep up the breath. He says, now keep up this beautiful heart breath. and go deeper and deeper to find the truth that would like to be expressed, especially in your own unique life, in your own unique way, in this very valuable time. He says, relax into it now. He says, please feel the presence of who you are, the forces that you're dealing with. He said, and situations that are very present and personal to you at this moment. Feel that now. Whether it be personal, whether it be on a greater scale, right? For instance, your community, your family, your work, or even on a planetary scale, or even the very extraordinary relationship between you or this individual consciousness with the primal consciousness of your own soul. Whatever it is, just sink into that exploration of truth in whatever area comes forward. And we are most likely to find our truth in situations that are adversarial. He says that's the beauty of adversary. If we can let go and truly explore it. He says, go deep. He says, you have found the situation. He says, and now allow the truth to unfold. Allow the bell of truth to be struck so that you may feel the resonance. Use your breath. Use your breath. He says, and please explore what that truth is, what that knowing is. Explore. Be receptive. Let it unfold. And let it reorganize any difficulty, any annoyance, any pushback that you have. Let this truth reorganize that whole aspect within you. This is on a vibrational as well as an informational and emotional level. Good. And now please let that truth, let it flower. Powered by your breath, your heart breath, let that truth flower, grow, expand. encapsulate, to merge with all other areas of the life, no matter what level it is. Use the breath and let it grow. Let it open. Let it connect. Let it connect over time, over space. Let it move through any obstacle, apparent obstacle. And this is where our true flow, our true presence, our real strength comes from. This is where it's sourced from. Opening and opening. Good. Now making note of what has just happened. Making note. Be very grateful. Be grateful for this knowledge and this ability. Oh my gosh, you have earned this ability. You earn it by switching your mind over. Switching your emotions over. By loving yourself. Love yourself. Love that truth. Relax into loving yourself. It's not a hard job, you know. Just relax into loving yourself. Relax into it. Relax into soul. The pure flow of love. Good. He says, and that's who you are. Don't forget, that's who you are. So now he is asking who can share. Now, since we are on this group muted thing, in order to share, please press *6. And he says, don't forget, just as the swordsman must come forward immediately, he says, please, who can share now? *6. Who can share their experience?
I can share.
Yes, who is this?
This is Carol.
Yes, Carol.
Well, I was thinking about several situations that I find difficult in my life, and I realized the main one is that I work with clients, and I do chore and respite for them a couple days a week.
You do
and
what? Say it again.
Chore and respite. I go and clean their house or do their errands, or for dementia. People with dementia, I'll go and just sit and listen to them, keep them company, make them a cup of tea, stuff like that.
Good.
So it's all very nice and easy, and they're thankful that I can do this, and they really appreciate it, and it's fun, and you get to know them, and they have tremendous life stories to tell you. But there's a catch, and the catch for me is that after a while they think that we are friends because we've spent time together, and they can't remember that our time together has been because I'm paid to be there, and I've been listening to them.
Uh-huh.
And because they've talked to me, they feel like I'm their friend, and then they'll, instead of just, the surface things and then finding out things that we like, they'll have some issue or situation in their life they'll start talking about, as if I'm going to agree with them that this is the right way to think and the right way to feel, and they want me to reinforce their comfort zone for them, only sometimes I'm not there with them, and sometimes I'm totally offended by what they're talking about, truthfully, and it's really hard to quickly adapt to what they're saying and at least get my face all in order so I'm not going to offend them by showing maybe the horror I feel inside, and to quickly let this all fall into place. So I found that heart breath works really, really well for these situations.
Ah.
Not that I'm a master at it or anything, but I'm just seeing that this is helping me better get along in these situations.
Mhm. Wonderful. And are you ever prompted to sort of ease in the truth of the situation?
Well, I've done that several times, and it doesn't seem to be well received, so I've had to stop.
Mhm. Okay.
And it's better just, most of the time they're not asking me a question. They're not asking for anything except for me to listen to them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
okay.
and that's all they're asking.
Okay.
I don't find that
and so
anyone
your
wants
truth?
to go anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Pardon?
So your truth comes in the form of heart breath then, right?
Right.
Wonderful. Good. Well, thank you so much, dear. And you found them ease out of their anger or their annoyance or their blaming?
If they're angry, annoyed, and blaming, when they get to that stage, then I've actually given them a little write-up about heart breath and tried to get them to use it, and I'll remind them then that heart breath is going to help them. And sometimes that helps.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
I was just talking to a doctor of Oriental medicine where people come in and spout off their anger. And so the advice from Baba Siri Chand was to tell them that their anger is ruining their liver and give them heart breath.
I'll remember the liver part. That'll be a statement they can understand.
Okay, good. Okay, thank you so much. Now, who else can share?
Hi, this is Kathy.
Yes, Kathy.
No.
Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm sitting here with my two children that are about to leave for fine arts camp, and I'm feeling my frustration of being pulled. And I thought, well, that must be, where I need to find the truth. And my son's almost 6, and I said, well, you need to make your own lunch. I'm really trying to listen and to participate in this, meditation as well, consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And I grapple always with this guilt and like, I'm spending too much time, this and that. Well, the little voice came to me that said, what if you weren't here? He would need to make his own lunch. And then he came and he handed me his lunch, and he has sprouts and raspberries and a bagel. And I just wanted to share that my truth is that I can let that go and that my children living their own path and walking their own walk is a beautiful, beautiful thing. So I wanted to share that simple beauty with you.
Oh, that's so sweet. Wonderful. Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
So are you finding that your children, as you live in your truth, your children live in their truth?
Yes, definitely. And I'm very blessed to have these radiant lights in my life.
Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, who else can...
I'll say goodbye because we're walking out the door now, so thank you.
Okay, well, thank you, dear. Bless you. Okay, so who else can share?
I can share.
Who is this?
Hari Inder.
Yes, Hari Inder.
I wanted first to acknowledge and say that every Wednesday when I tune into Baba Siri Chand teaching, I always feel that the teaching was designed for me because I experienced something during the week. And I'm thinking, what? Baba Siri Chand was actually watching, and then he made this teaching. It's
I love that.
So as this one. This one is just exactly what I always get exactly every Wednesday what I need in my life. And so there are here and there that I lose the truth, not exactly lose the truth, but there's this power that pushes me to say the wrong thing, and I although I know that I'm not supposed to say those things, but I don't know what power. It could be a karma power, and then later on, not much later, almost like the same time, I said to myself, that's not really the right answer for that, and I corrected, and I know what's the answer. So thank you. I do.
Yes. Well, thank you.
Yeah, and so I love this teaching. It's always exactly what I need in my life for growing and being this beautiful light being.
Oh, that's wonderful. So, would you like to give us an example?
All right. For example,
situation?
Yesterday.
Okay.
Yes, I was in the car with my husband, and he said something to me. My husband is not a spiritual person, but he's a good person. He has a very good heart, and he has really a very high developed heart because he helps a lot of people on a physical plane. And he said something that was very irritating to me. And normally I just even walk away or I laugh or I don't really, take it that seriously because the truth is always in the front of me. So I just go, okay, whatever, it's another nonsense. And I really don't take it seriously, but I don't know what happened in the car that I started screaming at him.
Oh, my.
And he was like shocked. He said to me, what happened to your La La Land? So I didn't like that either. I didn't like the fact that he calls me La La Land because I'm always calm and okay with everything, and I just tolerate everything, and I'm very flexible, and so I'm very easygoing. So when he said La La Land, I became very defensive. So I wanted to defend my truth, and so of course I said something that was inappropriate. But then again, I became very quiet, and I wanted to take it all back and say that was wrong. I didn't have to say that, and so I was okay. I was aware of the truth immediately.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but then again, there's this power that takes over me and makes me say something, and I'm thinking, that's karma. That was
not exactly. Well, no, I would say the karma is a situation of your husband saying something that could set you off. I would call that karma.
Right,
but the other thing that I would call those samskaras, in which it triggers something within ourselves.
Right.
And that just goes haywire. Yeah, we all know about those.
Yeah, so I'm saying the same thing, yeah. I'm saying the same thing, but it's good if we avoid those, too, and try to control them.
Yeah, well, do heart breath and ease out of them.
I do.
Hari Inder?
Yes?
Hari Inder? And stay in your La La Land.
I am.
I think I just didn't have another name for it. Oh, gosh.
Wouldn't that be nice if all of us would be in the La La Land? This world will be a magnificent world.
You got it. You got it. Good work, dear.
Well, thank you for your teaching. Thank you, beloved Baba Siri Chand, for his teaching. I'm really very grateful.
Oh, Yes, of course. He says he loves you. He says, don't we have a wonderful time?
Yes.
And I was just reminiscing with someone yesterday about, whenever we used to go to the Yogi Bhajan's classes, he would answer your questions. It was just normal. He would answer the question of everybody who was sitting there.
Wow.
So these guys, they know what they're doing.
I know. No. It feels that way anyway. It does.
Yeah, right. Okay. God bless you, dear. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. So who can be next?
Siri Gian?
Yes. Rahmane?
Yeah, Rahmane here. Up at Peace Prayer Day, Guru Singh said something that rang a bell in me.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were saying was a continuance of that. He was talking, it was in preparation of the eternal flame being carried by the runners.
Yes.
From mostly from the Nitty Pitty Academy.
Mm-hmm.
And that the native peoples had always understood that this place called Chimayo was a holy place, and then the Europeans came there and they set up a sanctuario, and they still keep the flame burning. And then our Sikh brothers and sisters for decades have been bringing a spark of that flame, an actual torch,
mm-hmm.
through the desert up to Ramdas Puri. And I understood at a deeper level than perhaps ever before how important the teachings that we're living are for healing the world. And the link with Christianity through the Sanctuario of Chimayo seemed like a very vital link, because Guru Singh was up there and he was sharing how the church had held this flame lit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you mentioned sending hard breaths to the people in the government, probably mostly of whom are Christian, and probably quite adamant about that. And because of really what I've been guided to do, much against what I thought I was going to be doing, I work with, the original language of Jesus. And when you said just no guilt when we forget, just return, just come back. And in Aramaic and Hebrew, that word was translated as repent, which carries a very heavy feeling around it. But the return idea, which is the original language, is free from all that. It's instantaneous. And so I wanted to ask everyone, if they feel so inclined, to seed that knowing into all the peoples in the government and in the companies that are overlooking the welfare of the planet and the welfare of the people. And just in that
or the opposite of welfare, whatever it is. Go ahead.
Right. And project through our heart breath that they understand that what they heard as repent, which is the key teaching that Jesus initially shared, repent. The consciousness is at hand, the kingdom is at hand, so-called, which is really trusting your inner self. So the key teaching of Yeshua then is exactly what Baba Siri Chand is saying. Come back to your center and live from there, knowing that you are guided, and to allow that knowing of what the core of Christianity is to infiltrate their consciousness, because they align with that path.
Wonderful. Well, let's just do that now. Let's do a little heart breath. And let the truth flow. And let's have a return. Return to truth, return to grace. Return to knowing. And love. And that's really, really important these days. Good. Inhale. And exhale. And thank you so much, Rahmane.
Yeah,
it's always fun to see how the essential teachings are the same among all.
Yes.
Okay, we have just a couple more minutes. Is there somebody who can share for a couple of more minutes?
I think I can. Sure, again.
Good.
This is Suzanne.
Is this Suzanne?
Yeah, hi.
Oh, good.
Hi. I wanted to thank the lady who mentioned Ho'oponopono for the children that are disturbed lately, and my niece is one of them, and she's getting out of the hospital today. And so 40 days sadhana for those children was very important to me, and I also thought it was beautiful. So I appreciated it, but I also think it was very powerful. And,
wonderful. That was Hadi Mundarkar. Is she on here now? Okay. So you have found this very effective for your niece?
I believe so. She'll be coming to be with me for 2 weeks, and I'll use my art in working with her.
How wonderful.
And just to give her space, But I really looked at that Ho'oponopono, and I thought that was a really interesting thing to do. And I thought for all of us to put the energy forward like that, I thought was really good.
Wonderful. Now, will you say the words of the Ho'oponopono?
I believe it's, I am sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. And, oh, gosh, the last one's most important.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, thank you.
Thank you. And I just added another one, Waheguru.
Oh, yeah, that's perfect. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I loved reading about what it meant. I really needed to go back and not just hear, but to really read what the sense of it was, which I thought was beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right in line with heart breath, really.
I beg your pardon?
It very much in line with heart breath, in that you take the accountability and you breathe peace into it.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Because we're working on the level, what I call the creative level, which is a vibrational, conscious level, above this everyday level. So it really does have a healing property, a healing power. So everybody can use it. So say it again for those who might not have heard it.
The what Ho'opono means, you mean?
No,
yes.
the words.
Okay. Oh, the words, okay. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And there it is again. I can't remember.
No, you said thank you and Waheguru.
Oh, no. And I love you. And Waheguru, yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I love you. Yes.
And I love you.
Okay. Thank you. Imagine a world to be healed simply if we live in that consciousness.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, dear. We appreciate it. Remember, ring the bell of your truth. That's who
Siri
we are.
Gian?
Yes.
I have an update of this mantra from, I think, Archangel Michael. Can I say it to you?
Please.
Okay, so it's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. You and I are released.
You and I are released? Is that what you said? Hello? Hadi Inder?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're going in and out. Okay, so we'll go over it again.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
All right, so it's, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. You and I are released and cleared.
Delightful.
I know. I did it on the water. Where I live, there was many lakes and streams and rivers, so I sat in the water and I did that. It was really very beautiful to connect direct with the water and the trees and the whole nature.
Delightful. So the rest of us can do that too when we go out to our lakes and streams and oceans?
Yes.
Good, into the water tapa. Okay, thank you so much.
Sure.
Okay, so now, again, so we are holding hands, blessing one another, blessing each other's families, communities, whole lives as one. And sit straight as we sing our closing song. Inhale. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And the pure light within you guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Inhale. Sat-nam. And bow to that cozy infinity, that truth, that knowing, that presence, that la-la land that is you. God bless you all, and talk to you soon. Sat-nam.
Thank you.
Satnam.